Yeah, hi guys. I hope my audio and video both these two are fine, right? So please check and share this video link in your respective social media groups who wants to join the live class of the UGC NET Paper 1 Teaching Aptitude. And we'll start the class in 2 minutes. So if there is any issue in audio and video, then please let me know through the comment section, guys. Okay, so I hope that everything is fine. Fine. So it is the third part of the teaching aptitude. As all of you know that in the Your Mentor YouTube channel, the complete UGC NET paper 1, the free live class are happening. And as a part of that one, it is the third session. So in the first and second session, we discussed about the concept of teaching as well as the learner characteristics. And while coming to the learner characteristics, few of the part is left. So that's why in this session, we are going to cover the learner characteristics. Okay. So we are going to finish the learner characteristics. So because almost 3/4 of the part already done in the second session, and the rest of the part of the learner characteristics will finish today. And few just some 5 to 6 questions related to the topics whatever we discussed so far. Also MCQs we are going to see at the end of this session. Okay. And rest of the topics like factors affecting teaching, methods of the teaching, that we'll see in the next sessions onwards. Fine. So all of you join the session. Hi Sarbani, good evening. Okay. So in the previous session, that is the second part, we discussed about the multiple topics of the learner characteristics. Okay. So coming to the learner characteristics, these are the different subtopics, and in these subtopics we discussed about the what is the concept of learning and the meaning and definition, characteristics of learning and the learner characteristics. So these are the topics already we covered in the second part of the session. And while coming to the today's session, what are the types of learnings, and what is the differences between the adolescent and the adult learners, and what is the meaning of individual differences. Okay. So 2.4, 2.6, 2.7 and 2.8 we are going to see in this session. So I hope that whatever the last two parts are there, if you did not watch those videos, then those videos are available in the Your Mentor YouTube channel itself. So you guys can go through that one. And if you want to get the respective, that means every day in between 4 to 5, the live class usually starts. Okay. So if you did not yet subscribe the channel, then subscribe and then follow up the classes regularly. If you are interested and if you are understanding the concepts, whatever we're discussing in this live class. Okay. Fine. So coming to the present, today we are going to start with the types of learning, that is 2.4. As I already told that it is a part of the learner characteristics itself. So in the types of the learning, first of all, let's have a look at what are the different types of learnings are there. One is a motor learning, another one is a discrimination learning, and second one is, third one is the verbal learning, fourth one is the conceptual learning. Okay. So these are the four different types of learnings are there. So let's have a look with respect to the definitions and with respect to the examples of these types of learnings. Okay. And coming to the motor learning means, as we already discussed in the previous session, that motor learning, okay, is nothing but a moving of the muscles. Okay, that means if we are learning something with moving of the muscles can be called as a motor learning. If you are writing, handwriting also comes under the motor learning. So few of the candidates will be having the very good handwriting and few of the candidates will be having the poor handwriting. So it depends upon the muscular activity, it depends upon the motor movement. So out of the different body movements, the finest motor movement is the handwriting. Why? Because very small movement will be there, right? So in this in this motor learning, that means which we are learning something activities based upon the muscular movements, muscle movements. So like you can see that eating with spoon or fork and swimming and typewriting and driving a car. Okay, all these things comes under the, I mean, whatever the examples kept here, these are all the examples, or these are all the activities which we can't learn simply by watching or listening or reading. Okay, right? So we have to do the activity. The learning of such skills depends upon the maturity, sensory motor coordination, and integration of the responses related to the intended skill learned and the initial preliminary stages. Right? Next. So there is a motor learning, and here I kept the different examples, like if you want to play some indoor or outdoor games, okay, and if you are playing the football or something else, okay, whatever the activity we are doing, so all these activities are comes under the motor learning. That means based upon the muscle movements we can able to learn these activities and all. And while coming to the discrimination learning, so what is this discrimination learning is that by making the difference. Okay. Usually we are going to see the comparisons or the differences between the two situations. By looking the differences between the two situations, we are going to learn the concepts. Okay. So general feature of this type of learning is that differentiating between the two stimuli, means two situations or the two activities. Okay. So based upon these things, we are going to learn. And differentiation between the mother and the stranger. That means from the childhood itself, usually if the mother holds us, then we keep calm, and if the stranger holds us, then we used to scream, right? So from the childhood itself, then this type of discrimination learning we used to start. Okay. And differentiating between the dog and as well as the doll of the dog, right? So the three important situations of the discrimination learning are probability learning, incidental learning, and the reversal learning. These are the main situations of the discrimination learning. Means probability means based upon the probability conditions. Okay, so it might be very much convenient to us. It might be not convenient to us. So like that, we're doing some type of probabilities based upon our previous experience and something else. Okay, so like this, if we can able to differentiate the good things and bad things, okay, familiar things and not convenient things, then it is called as a different discriminating type of learning. So not only the human beings, animals are also trained to discriminate. Okay, for example, the animals means just like that. If you take the dogs and few other animals, they will discriminate the food items whether they can eat or not. Whatever the food items we are eating, all those food items the dogs will not eat, right? So the dogs can able to differentiate what can be eat or what should not eat, right? And so it can also be trained. If you take the police dogs and the army dogs, so they can able to differentiate what is the RDX. Okay, so which one is the harmful substances and which are the non-harmful substances. Those dogs are trained like this to assess the police people. Okay, it is called as a discrimination type of learning. And as I told in the previous example, like a kids can able to discriminate the mother as well as the stranger. Okay, so humans also can use the discrimination learning to detect the dangerous situations or the dangerous things. And so usually the baby will react very comfort with the mother's voice than the stranger's voice, right? Next, the third type of learning is called as a verbal type of learning. So verbal type of learning means whatever the thing we are doing right now from this class, like by looking the words, by looking the sentences, by looking the pictures and all these things comes under the verbal type of learning. And apart from the whatever the discrimination learning we saw, okay, as well as the motor learning we saw, most of the learning, usually human beings follow the verbal type of learning, right? So in the verbal type of learning, it includes the words as well as the formal type of education situations. For what is the meaning of formal type of education situations is that going to the colleges or the schools and getting the lectures from the lecturers, okay, and learning from them and reading the textbooks or reading the notes and all. These are all the usual verbal type of learning usually we follow, right? And next one comes under the fourth one is the conceptual type of learning. So in this conceptual type of learning, someone common property in the group of the sub. That means learning to react. In the concept type of learning, it is nothing but we are learning to react some situations. Means if the teacher is giving some concept to the students, then if the students can able to understand the concept, then the students can able to react to the questions asked by the teacher, or else questions we are getting in the examination. Correct or not? So in children, the concept learning starts at the very young age itself. Okay. At a very early stage, they try to learn about the various different types of situations of the environment, and they will attach like if any some houses they see, they used to tell like it is a house, okay, it is a wood and it is a fruit, something like that. They can able to differentiate and they can able to get the concept. Okay. So once the concept are learned, they are manipulated in language as well as the thinking. That means if they once remind that if they see any one bottle, okay, if they can able to relate that it is a bottle means, then they will convert that one into different languages whatever they studied, and then they start thinking also. And this type of conceptual learning leads to reflective level also. What is the meaning of reflective level? Means inventing or discovering the new things and all. And at higher stage of learnings, the power of thinking and judgment will be highly developed, and the individuals can able to solve their problems themselves, right? And so these are the four different types of the learning. So motor learning, and the discrimination learning, verbal learning, and the concept type of learning. And while coming to the next one, adolescent learners and the adult learners. Usually adolescent learners means kids, learners means so bigger one, right? And next, so in most of the times, UGC, I mean NTA used to ask the which of the following are the characteristics of the adolescent, which of the following are the characteristics of the adult learners. Okay, they used to ask this type of questions. So we must be clear about the characteristics as well as the different terms included in this adolescence and the adult learners. Okay, so adolescence means, what is the definition of, I mean, what is the meaning of the adolescence is that to emerge, okay, and to achieve the identity. So adolescent learners means they are not completely matured, they are not completely immature. They are in between both these two stages. Okay. So it is the time for maturing of the mind and behavior, and it is not the age, it is one stage. And this adolescence is divided into the three different stages. So what are the three different stages? Early adolescence, middle adolescence, and the late adolescence. Anyhow, this adolescence period starts from 10 years of age and it will go up to 19 years of age. Okay. And once after completion of the 19 teenage, then from 20 onwards, usually we'll call as a adult learners. Okay. So 10 to 12 is called as early adolescence. In this stage, what will happen is that growing of body structure like hands, feet, later in the limbs, and there is a high demand in the independence and privacy. So there is a chance of conflicts. That means usually early adolescence kids or the uh, people will look for the independence and they will look for the privacy. Okay. And middle adolescence means in between 12 to 16 years, the further development of the bodily and the genetic developments will takes place. A decision of vocations as well as education. That means they can able to take decisions like which one I need to study, which one I'm not interested in the mathematics, I'm interested in the biology, something like that. The physical effect of the pubertal development becomes incorporated into their self images. And at the late adolescence means they will convert into adulthood, okay, and they can able to take their decision. That means they are ready to take their decisions regarding their career, okay, something related by themselves, and the child gradually returns to the family on a new footing. Okay. Next, this adolescence can be defined in a different ways based upon the different subjects, subjectual point of view. As per the academically, adolescence can be called defined as a huge amount of time spent in the schools or else in the early colleges. Psychologically, adolescence is a period of transition where their intellectual things will develop, physical and personality things will develop. Social changes means the way of mingling with the friends or society will be changes. Next, sociologically means it is going to fill up the gap between the dependent childhoods and the self-sufficient adulthood. And as per the medical point of view, there will be the growth with respect to the body point of view, and hormonal changes point of view will be there. So as per the different subjects point of view, the adolescence can be defined into the different ways. Okay. Next, in generally characteristics of adolescent learners with respect to physical, it will takes place. Okay. And physically means their body, age, maturity, and all these things. With respect to IQ levels, with respect to social means the way of mingling with others. So emotional as well as psychologically, morality, cognitive and intellectuality, both these two are almost similar. And as per the academic point of view, we can differentiate the different characteristics of the adolescent learners. Okay, fine. So if you are speaking the adolescent learner characteristics with respect to academic achievements, then so more time they are spending in the school, and academic achievements during the adolescence is like parental engagement and motivation among themselves. Okay, and institutional point of view means school point of view. Okay, and all these things can set the future career opportunities. So involving in the games, sports, arts, and crafts also will plays a major role. And in the academic achievement, that means if the adolescent candidate has to get the good academic achievements, then definitely parents has to put the greater effort in adolescence age rather than the adult age. Okay, so how much effort the parents as well as the teachers are also putting on the adolescent age candidate, that will automatically reflect in the adult age. Next, coming to the social changes. So what are the different social changes? Means social changes is one of the characteristic of the adolescent learners. So here, this Mead, I mean, it is a famous personality name. He highlighted the role of cultural factors in the development of the personality of the adolescent. That means the personality development will takes place. And the Mead also observed like adolescent age is a storm and stress. It is the most important word, storm and stress. Why? Because it in one of the UGC NET examination, they ask this question: storm and stress is related to which of the following options? Okay, so that's why I'm highlighting this point. Fine. So storm and stress is related to the adolescence age. Okay, why? Because they're having high amount of energy and they will be stressed easily. Okay, and they're looking for the privacy, they're looking for the independency. Fine, and they're gradually moving from childhood to the adulthood. Okay, and they're relatively stress free in society. And so Bernard also subscribes it as a cultural phenomena. The cultural aspect of adolescence starts with the two main aspects like rapidly widening life it is, and increasing the overlap between the child and the adult. Okay, so it is one type of overlapping thing between the child. That means those people are not called as a childs, or the kids are not as a completely adults. And as per the emotional point of, it is also one of the previous UGC NET question. Okay, which of the following stage of the person or the candidate have the more maximum stress, maximum energy, maximum anxiousness? It will happens in the adolescence period only. Okay, so if the learner is stressed, that means the over anxiousness will not be able to learn. Means, for example, if anyone teacher is continuously stressing the adolescent learner to read and get the marks and something like that, means if the teacher not only teachers, if the parents are also putting some kind of stress or the pressure on the adolescent learners, it leads to over anxiousness in that candidate and it leads to nothing. Okay, they will not able to learn, they will not able to do the activities properly. So always we should make the adolescent learners as a stress free. Okay, and adolescents face the problems of morality. Why? Because they don't know which one is the ethical, which one is unethical, which one is the moral, which one is the non-moral. So they are continuously facing the problems whether whatever the activity they are doing, they don't know whether it is correct or not exactly. Okay, and they always looks for the freedom, they looks for the democratic life means they don't have any type of racism in their minds at that adolescence age, right? So they're like permissive atmospheres that the parents and teachers to be lenient towards them. Okay, next, cognitive type of development. What is the meaning of cognitive type of development? Means intellectuality development, their mental activity development, means mind maturity, IQ levels maturity, all these things, and adjusting to the environment, adjusting to the situations and all, how to adjust, how to cope up with the present existing situations. All these things will gradually develops in this adolescence age, like intelligence, thinking or imagination about the environment. And the cognitive development takes place at the different phases. Like at elementary level, there is an increase in the children capacity to learn. Okay, qualitative aspects as well as the maturity. And the capacity develops in the learners through interaction of the innate power means heredity, environment and the maturation. That means whatever the cognitive type of development means IQ levels as well as the mental maturity is there, that will develop based upon the their heredity, surrounding environment means in which environment we are locating. The environment means what about the friends, what about the school, what about the parents, all these things, and their maturity naturally. Okay, so all these things can, it is one type of mental process that can systemize them, organize and utilizing the knowledge. And coming to the next slide, physical development in the adolescence. If you see the physical growth as well as the mental maturity growth, that will mostly happens in the adolescence age, that is in between 10 to 19. And whatever the physical growth is happening here, whatever the things that whatever the moralities they learned here, that will be maximum sustain up to rest of the life, right? So in this physical, while coming to the adolescence age, there is a restlessness and fatigue due to the hormonal changes. Why? Because they are moving from childhood to adulthood, and there is a need of physical activity. Why? Because in the adolescence age candidates, there is a lot of energy will be there. Definitely some kind of physical activity must be there. That's why usually in the schools, there is a system like making the drills and some kind of physical activities, right? And developing the sexual awareness, and often touching and bumping into the others, means they can able to differentiate like the boys and girls like that. And a concern with changes in the body size and that means they will much bother about their changes in the body size as well as the shape and all. So these are all the physical development type of characteristics. Intellectual development means they will move from concrete to abstract type of thinking. Concrete means rote type of learning. Abstract means conceptual type of learning. So it is a stage to move from rote learning to the conceptual type of learning, and developing the capacity to understand the high level of humor, a high level of subjects. All these things they will slowly start understanding, and which may be misunderstood by adults to be sarcastic or even aggressive. Sometimes the misunderstandings in the adolescence age will be more, right? And high achievement when challenged and engaged. That means if the adolescent age, if the adolescent learners are challenged, if somebody challenge them, then they will show the high achievements. Usually you see that if parents usually tell that if you get the 90 percentage of marks this time in the examination, then I will give you some chocolates. Okay, I will purchase something to you. So if you give those type of challenges means, then they will show the high achievements, right? and demand the relevance in learning what is being taught. So whatever the things are taught to them, they will start learning. And social development means how the adolescent learners are moving or developing socially. So overreacting to ridicule, embarrassment, and rejection. That means if the adolescent learner is rejected by his or her friends, or by teachers, or by parents, there will be overreaction will be there. Okay, and if anybody shows some kind of attention to the adolescent learners, they will immediately attracted towards them, and they will continuously ask about the questions like racial things, ethnic identity. Okay, and they will try to get the answers regarding this racial things and ethnic identities from the society. Next, emotional and psychological development also will be there. Like their moods are highly swing. So if you take the kids, their mood will be changes suddenly. Okay, and sometimes they will go into peak. Okay, if something we did not purchase them, whatever they're asking, they will scream like anything, right? Next, self consciousness and being sensitive to the personal criticism. So if we criticize them personally, then they will be very very sensitive. So that's why if we are dealing with the adolescents learners, means 10 to 19 years of age candidates, the teacher must be very very careful, and all these points has to be keep in our mind, and concern about their physical growth and maturity, and they will always feel that the problems are only to them. They are facing the unique problems. Nobody in the world are facing no problems. Okay, they will feel like that. I am only facing the problem. Entire world is happy. So they usually they experience those type of things. So it is a emotional and psychological level. And while coming to the moral development means there will be some difficultiness to understand about the moral issues, like what is the question values and cultural expressions, religious type of teachings and all. Okay, and being capable of interest in participating in democracy. That means usually, if you take the adolescence age candidates, they don't have any type of racism things. Okay, so this person belongs to this caste, this person belongs to this religious. They don't have such type of thing. They are highly democratic. They feel that everybody is equal only. Okay, and needing and being influenced by adult role models who will listen and be trustworthy. It is also one of the point asked in the previous UGC NET examination. So adolescent learners are highly influenced by the role models. Okay, usually if you ask any some kid that who is your favorite hero, who is your favorite scientist, who is your favorite person, they used to imitate them. Okay, and relying on parents. Usually, adolescent learners are relying on their parents. Okay, and important adults for advice. So they always look for one kind of advice and wanting to make their own decisions. Means adolescent learners depends upon the parents and other teachers for getting the advice, but finally they will take their own decision. Okay, and they will judge others quickly, and they can able to understand their faults very slowly, right? So all of you are understanding this one. Next, up to now we saw the characteristics of the adolescent learners with respect to academic achievements, with respect to social changes, with respect to emotional changes, cognitive development, physical development, intellectual development, social development, emotional and psychological development, as well as the moral development. Okay. Now, while coming to the characteristics of the adult learners, means just simply one slide I kept. So, adult learners are always look for the problem centered. Problem centered means they will always try to get one solution, whatever the problem it might be. Either it might be the problem facing in the life, or else they're facing the problem in understanding the concepts and all. And adult learners are always the result oriented. Okay, and they are self directed, self motivated, self directed. They don't depend upon the others. Okay, and they seek education that relates or applies directly to their perspective needs. That means whatever the subject they want to learn, they will learn that one only. Okay, and they accept the responsibility by their own. Right? Next, so as per the Malcolm, the adult learners are mature, self-directed, independent, and experienced. And adult education is based upon the philosophy called as a andragogy. Right? In the same way, adolescence education is based upon the what? Children's education is based upon the what? Children. Pedagogy. Right? Next. So this andragogy is the art and science of helping the adults to learn the guiding principles of adult learner, aiming to bring the changes. Okay, changes in what the people know, changes what they can do, changes in what they are thinking, changes what actually they will do. Okay, so andragogy or the adult education is helps the adult learners to change the way of thinking, to change the way of activity. Okay, all these things. Next, adulthood is mostly defined on, in the previously I given that adolescence is having the three different types of adolescence, right? I shown you the age also. Early adolescence 10 to 12 years, middle adolescence 12 to 16 years, and a late adolescence is 16 to 19 years. In the same way, while coming to the adult learners means, here as per the UNESCO organization, so in India, 15 to 35. Do you understand here? Something is merging, right? So we shown you that up to 19, it is the late adolescence, right? But here 15 to 35, we are calling this one as a adult learners. Something is merging, but no problem. You can take 19 to 35 or 20 to 35. And but as per the UNESCO, it is as per the India. But as per the UNESCO, 24 to 65 is called as a adulthood or the adult learners. Okay. Next. Few of the characteristics of the adult learning. Now I think you already understood, right? Adult learners are the self-directed, self-motivated, goal-oriented, problem-solving type of thing. They're expecting the self-respect. They think practically. They study relevant to their knowledge. Okay, they're having some experience and the knowledge and all. Next, few of the principles of adult learning, like the leadership, experience, their appeal, respect, as well as the following the novel styles. These are the principles of the adult learning. And few of the differences between the adolescent learners and the adult learners with respect to few of the elements I kept here in 2 slides. So if you are watching this video as a recorded one, pause this video here and try to make a note down the points of these things. Okay. So here the learner, while coming to the adolescence, the learner is dependent on the teacher. Here the learner is self-motivated and the self-directed. As while coming to the learner experience, here the learner is having the little experience, but here the learner is having the tremendous amount of life experience. So like that, based upon the few elements, few of the differences I kept here. So you please go through all these things carefully. Okay. Fine. So while coming to the last topic of the learner characteristics, what is this last topic is that individual differences. What is this individual differences? Means if you take the 100 students in a classroom, each and every student is unique themselves. Am I correct or not? Okay, each and every, if you take the 100 students or 1000 students or 10,000 students, each and every candidate is unique. Okay, all out of the 100 students, we can't tell that all the 20 students are having the same characteristics. We can't tell like that. So if you take the 100 students, each and every student is unique. Each and every student is having the different learner characteristics and all. One student might be having the high maturity, one student might be having the low maturity, right? So in what, on what parameters the differences will take place? We tried to mention here the 12 parameters, but actually there are a lot of parameters out there. But as per our UGC NET examination point of view, these 12 parameters are enough. So physical appearance point of view, the difference between the two candidates will come. Intelligence point of view, attitudes point of view, achievements point of view, motor ability point of view, sex, gender point of view, racial differences, means their traditionals, their culture, something point of view, economic status point of view, their interests and their emotions, and their personality point of view. Okay, so as per this 12 different point of views, we can able to differentiate the students, right? Next, fine. So it is the last topic of the learner characteristics, where the learner characteristics is a second topic of the first unit, that is teaching aptitude, right? So yeah, so while coming to the teaching aptitude, that is the first unit, these are the 5 different subtopics are there in the first unit. Out of the 6 different subtopics, we gone through the teaching as well as the learner characteristics as if right now. Tomorrow we are going to see the third topic, that is the factors affecting the teaching. Before closing this session, whatever the topics we studied in this last 2 sessions and the today session, I kept some questions, MCQs here. So try to answer these MCQs. In tomorrow session, we will move to the third topic, that is methods of teaching. Tomorrow session, that is methods of teaching, is a very important. As I already told you in the first session, that Pakka we will get 1 or 2 questions from the methods of teaching. That is what we are going to discuss in the tomorrow session. Okay, and once again I'm telling that our daily session will start daily evening in between 4 to 5. Okay, yeah, so please answer this question, put your answer in the comment section. Okay, understanding theories and the principles of children's learning is of fundamental importance for what? For effective teaching, effective curriculum planning, motivation of the learner, and all of the above. So what is your answer? Hi Pravash, good evening. So you can put your answer in the comment section, guys. Understanding the theories and principles of the children's learning is the fundamental importance of what? Okay, if you are understanding the theories, or else if you are trying to understanding the way of children's learning, it is the fundamental importance of what? To effective teaching, to make the curriculum planning effectively, to motivate the learners also. So here option D is the correct answer. Okay, next. The most appropriate meaning of learning is what? What is the answer? The most appropriate meaning of learning is what? Inculcation of knowledge, or modification of behavior, personal adjustment, or acquisition of skills? Guys, put your option, correct option in the comment section, guys. What is the most appropriate meaning of learning, or else the most appropriate meaning of teaching? Anything is fine. To bring the modification in the behavior of the student. Okay, to bring the modification of behavior in the student. So it is the correct thing. Why? Because see, most appropriate meaning means all the 4 are correct only, but we have to select the most appropriate one. So from the first session and second session, I stressed, like, I mean, all these are the previous UGC NET questions, guys. In the previous, in the first session and second session, I told like teaching as well as the learning, the most important thing is bringing the modification in the behavior of the student. So here option B can be taken as a most appropriate one. Okay. Teachers' knowledge on students' needs and interests are covered by which of the following subjects? Philosophy, psychology, sociology, or politics of education. So what is your answer? Teachers' knowledge on students' needs and interests. So that means teacher is trying to understand the needs and necessities and interest of the students. Okay. So it comes under what? That means if I'm trying to understand you, the subject is called as what? If the teacher is trying to understand the student, the subject is what? Psychology. Correct? Psychology is nothing but we're trying to understand the others. Right? Next. The most important challenge before a teacher is what? So, can anybody answer this one? The most important challenge before a teacher is what? Here, A or D can be taken as an answer, either A or D. But out of both these two, A can be taken as a suitable answer. Why? Because if you want to make the teaching learning process the most enjoyable, first of all, your class must be maintained very, very disciplined. Okay, then only the enjoyable teaching learning process will takes place. So here we can take option A as a correct answer. Next, we usually say that no two students are alike. They may differ from each other in terms of what? Just now I finished this topic with individual differences, right? This question is related to individual difference only. Usually the no two students are alike. They may different with respect to different terms. So which of the following terms? So what is the correct answer? So here we can take that option D is the correct answer. All of them. So upbringing and social status point of view, the two students are different. Aptitude means some kind of talent. Point of view, the two students are different. Attitude point of view, the two students are different. So all of the above is the correct answer. Okay. Fine. Yeah. So tomorrow we are going to see the factors affecting the teaching. So tomorrow we are going to see the third topic. Okay. And the fourth topic is very, very important. So from this one, definitely 100% will get one or two questions from our UGC NET exam. Okay. Okay. So tomorrow we'll see the third topic, that is what are the different factors affecting the teaching. Okay. Okay. So thank you very much. So by this I'm closing this session. So please revise the today's topic and maintain a notes also whenever you are watching these videos. So maintain a notes. Okay. And whatever the points you are getting, so write down the handwritten notes is very, very important. Fine. Yeah. Okay guys, thank you very much and we'll meet in the tomorrow session. Bye guys.